Morning.
Got your food?
Yes, sir.
Get some energy in you? Well, thanks for having us again. We always enjoy coming up here and we appreciate you. I'm Lieutenant Greg Schipporeit and I run the patrol division with Lieutenant Todd Rossi. This is Deputy Chief Steve Tompkins.
Good morning, everybody. Night, Jake.
And our Administrative Lieutenant Cliff Luce, if you haven't met him.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
You have the pleasure of hanging out with us today.
We're happy to be hanging out with anybody.
Yeah, let's do. We get tired of hanging out with each other, so like it's good to see some friendly faces. So today, as you probably can tell, we'll focus quite a bit on the drones. We did get a new drone this year, so we'll do a little demo best we can and give you some information on what we can do with it and what its capabilities are. But first, just kind of wanted to give you guys a quick update on kind of a few of the things that are going on right now for the police department. The chief has recently started doing an Employee of the Month program in order to help kind of recognize the good work that our men and women of the police department are doing. And it's been great because the sergeants, they supervise the patrolmen, and then they give us nominations each month for officers that have kind of gone beyond the call of duty or just have shown a work consistency, leadership, any of those good qualities that we look for, and we're happy to be able to kind of reinforce that type of behavior and that good work. Am I loud enough, or do I need the mic?
That's right.
You guys good back in the back?
No.
Okay. Is that better?
Better.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, no problem. So, the Employee of the Month. So, we had in the month of August was Officer Rich Trainer. He's a 35-year veteran of the police department. Great guy. He's always at work. He's always hardworking. He does a great job with traffic enforcement, making sure keeping everybody safe with that. And he's very active. Guys, sometimes when they've been doing it for a long time, they lose a little bit of motivation. And that's not the case with Rich. So he's a great asset for us to have. He helps the young guys learn a lot and is really, really awesome to have with us still. For the month of September was Officer Bryce Miranda, who's actually our newest officer. So it's kind of a yin-yang thing. We had the most tenured officer and the youngest officer. So, but he's doing a great job. He's really excelling at the profession and is going to do great things over the years. He's actively involved in all the investigations. There was some different things that he helped out a lot with. He's always willing to help, always willing to help his fellow officers, and has really kind of established himself as a leader amongst his peers, even at his young age. I think he's only 22, 23. So he's doing great. We've been very, very happy with what he's been doing. So that's been nice. The Westborough Police Foundation was generous enough, and they provide us with a little reward for the guys, along with a certificate and a gift card to anywhere that they can spend, and kind of as a thank you from the Police Foundation, who really help us out and do a lot of great things for us. Let's see, some of the other things. Post actually just passed some new requirements for police officers, and this part of the post law is more focused on the organization itself and some of our record keeping and our ability to show what officers are doing as far as training and all the other things that come along with being a police officer. The good news is through our accreditation that we did last year, we're already pretty well in compliance with most things, but we are in compliance, and we have all the necessary documents and paperwork, training records, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of agencies now are kind of getting a little nervous about this and trying to rush to get records together, making sure that they have everything on hand. But the good news is that we have everything filed away. We know where pretty much everything is, and if we don't know where it is, we can find it. So that's a good thing for us, and it'll make the transition easy for us moving forward. And then, let's see, anything else I'm missing that's come up the last couple of months, guys? Highlight?
Turkey trot. I know all of you guys are going to run in the turkey trot, but it's 23rd of this month. That's always awesome. So I'll see all of you out there. I know you're going to go fast. Holiday stroll is on the 1st, December 1st, which is Sunday, I think. It's holiday stroll, so that's always a good time. That's kind of fun to go down there and see all the lights and everything else like that. So that's on the 1st. So that's all you want to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, and so kind of one of the other highlights we had of this last month in October was the annual town trick or treat that goes on, and this is this year we kind of did it differently. So this area right here, this is a garage. It used to be the Explorer Post. They've recently vacated that, so we've been using it for storage and a few other things from our motorcycle and some of our other equipment. So it's a nice area we have. The last couple of years, we've done our haunted house for the trick-or-treat inside of our Sallyport garage, which it worked, but it was a little bit smaller, and we weren't able to do as much stuff as we wanted to, and it kind of it hindered our police operations a little bit. So we ended up doing our haunted house in the back here. Detective Alicia O'Brien and our newest part-time animal control officer, Shannon. I'm sorry. Murphy. They did a great job decorating it and setting it up nice for the kids, and everyone had a great time. We had a huge crowd come through there. Do you remember how many?
Like 1,000 kids.
1,000 kids. So yeah, it was nice, and it worked out really well. It was a little bit, we didn't have to worry about traffic as much, and safety-wise, it was nicer, and we also had, it was a little creepier than the Sallyport garage, because it is an older building and kind of just has a creepy feel to it. So I think the kids really enjoyed that. So that was a lot of fun. Everyone did a great job on that. So with that, that's kind of the update of things going on. So we'll move into the drone stuff here. And kind of what I first wanted to do is I just want to show you guys some of the capabilities of the drone in the air. This is actually a video that Lieutenant Luce filmed on the drone. So it's got, you can record both video and take pictures in the drone as well. So we can use it for so many different applications as it relates to police work. So it's not just for looking for bad guys or searching for missing people. We use it for major events where we have to keep an eye on crowds, eye on traffic, those types of things. So it's really a useful tool for us. It's our eye in the sky that gives us reach far beyond where we can drive and where we can see. And it's as far as cost-wise, the town of Westborough, we're not going to get a helicopter. And the fact of the matter is these drones are probably better than a helicopter at this point, in my opinion, because this new drone right here that we have, we can fly it in almost any weather. The capabilities of it are outstanding. So it can be in the air for up to 41 minutes is the total flight time, and then it's continuous batteries that we can switch out. So we could fly it continuously for hours and hours if we needed to. It also has all weather capabilities where it'll.
Nice. So you guys can all see it.
Yep. So it can fly in temperatures anywhere from -20 to -4 Fahrenheit up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So any of those type of weather, it can fly in the rain, snow, and then winds up to, what do we got here? Maximum wind resistance is 20, so winds up to 26 miles an hour. So a decent clip, and that's something where when it's windy, it'll still fly. It might wobble a little bit, but you're still, even in a higher wind, you'd still be able to get it up there. So I wouldn't fly it in a hurricane, but you could definitely get some. Most of the weather we have around here, knock on plastic, we would be able to get it up in the air, whereas a traditional helicopter wouldn't be able to go up. So it does have infrared capabilities, all kinds of.
Greg, you got a question back there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Approximately, how much does that cost?
That unit itself is, let's see, all in with cases, batteries, controller, it's about $9,000. Yes, sir.
Where is it made?
It's actually made in China. It's a Chinese-made drone. And I had a feeling that question was going to come up. Unfortunately, we did look at American drones, and the concern that some have is that the Chinese would be able to hack in and have access to our footage. And you know, the picture of our back garage isn't really that great of intel for them, but you know, there are things in town that could present an issue. So we looked at it a lot. We looked at a couple of the American-made drones, and unfortunately something that was close to the capabilities of this unit was, I think it was $25,000 to $27,000. So as far as, you know, being fiscally responsible and getting the most and best capabilities, we decided that this would be our best option at this point. There is a workaround to it in order to kind of avoid that type of spying or whatever that they could do with it, where we can load in an American company and actually Axon, the people that do our body cameras, and Taser and all those types of things. They have software programs where you can actually fly the drone. So you take all the Chinese software out of there and then use an American-made software to pilot the unit. So it's still operational. If there were any laws passed by the federal government or the state saying that no more Chinese drones flying, then we would be able to adapt to that, and our drone wouldn't be grounded. So.
Yeah. Is it
The other thing is too,
DJI?
is that we're transparent on everything. Body camera footage, you know, drone footage. It doesn't really matter. Like, we're not using this drone for federal secrets or anything like that. It's all stuff that's available for the public anyways. So it's not like anyone would be able to hack into this and get something that, you know, wasn't available for them anyways if we actually had the footage. So it's not being used at this point in time for investigations or, you know, anything along those lines. We're using it more or less for, you know, looking for missing people, or, you know, trying to ID or find suspects that might be in the woods hiding or something. But that's the extent of what we use the drone for anyways. So, you know, it's not that big of a deal at this point in time.
Got it. Is it made by DJI?
Correct, yes.
They make a great product.
Yeah.
I've had their drones for the last 9 years.
Yeah.
They make a great product, and I understand the price trade-off.
Yeah, and you know, we wish we could buy an American drone, but it's just, you know, we got to do the right thing and take
Not there
everything
yet.
into account.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and kind of another, just to go off of that, so in 2023, we deployed the drone officially on 40 different deployments, and the majority, let's see, so 28 of those were in the town of Westborough. 12 of those were in other SEMLEC communities, so other towns around the Worcester area that we were a part of. We assisted in those. And again, like the deputy chief was saying, the majority of the call-outs were searching for missing people, endangered juveniles, welfare checks on people. Someone goes into the woods, you know, and haven't heard from them, we go look for them. Even missing dogs, those types of things. The funny thing is, there was a bloodhound that was missing over by South Street, and we found the bloodhound in the woods with the drone. So kind of a role reverse thing there. So that was kind of fun. All right. So, any other questions at this point? All right. So we'll get in the video here, and I'm not going to show the whole thing. It's kind of long. I just kind of want to point out a couple of things to help show its capability. Hopefully, it's not too hard to see. This little guy here, he was putting on a show. He'd think he saw the drone up there. So this is kind of one of the major things we use it for. So now Lieutenant Luce was standing in the back parking lot there, right?
Yes, yeah, yep, sitting out by the generator, yep, out back there, yep.
Yep, so he's now able to look from where he's at, where normally we wouldn't see it. So this is West Main Street here, here's Town Hall. He's able to come out here and take a look at what's going on the street here. And you know, as the operations commander of this event, he would be able to say, hey, you know, traffic on West Main is getting blocked up going towards the Rotary. Let's get an officer here. We got a lot of kids crossing the intersection. Can you notify the patrol officer down there to go out and stop traffic? So there's a lot of capabilities that you have with it. We actually have a headset feature similar to what an actual pilot would wear, and it connects into our portable radios. And then on the back of the controller, there's a button, so it's a push to talk button. So the operator, the pilot of the drone, is able to communicate without having to take his hands off of the controller itself. So he's able to keep good control of the aircraft, as well as provide any necessary information for anyone. So as we continue here, the range on it is, let me grab my numbers here, but it's pretty phenomenal how far you can go and be able to still communicate with it. So as you see, this is, now we're over in the rotary. This gives us a lot of good information on traffic flow, what we're doing there, and what's going on. So let's see. I lost my notes on that, but I want to say it's like 2,600 feet. You can send that drone out. I know yesterday I was at the police station, and I was able to fly it all the way up here and fly over the senior center and be able to see what's going on here with the Zoom. So again, this is kind of just what we can do to help monitor situations. Now, if something were to happen, like say there was say a fight in front of the town hall, and we had the drone in the air. Now, Lieutenant Luce would be able to focus the drone right there at the town hall. He can zoom in. The capabilities of the zoom are phenomenal. You're able to pretty much zoom in onto somebody's face and most likely identify them if it's someone that you know. And this is all being recorded live time. Now, we don't do that. We don't keep footage. We don't do things like that invade people's privacies. We're not flying up to your window. We're not looking in your window or anything crazy like that. It's really just for informational purposes for us, and tactical information as it relates to different events and different things going on. Fast forward just a little bit. So it does give a nice overall look and idea of what's going on in the town when we have one of these major events like this. And to be honest, you can even just send it up in the air and it'll just sit there. So if say the chief he's busy doing paperwork in his office, but he wants to keep an eye on the event going out on the street, he can actually link up to the controller and view that on his monitor in his office like this. So he can keep an eye on what's going on. If he sees something, he can notify the officers on the street, like, hey, we need to go address this situation or that situation. And it just provides us with a great overall understanding of the events and making sure that everyone's being safe and that there's not any issues we're missing. So that's that. Any questions on that? Yeah.
Is this all on a tape that you're showing us?
Yeah, so it saves, it's kind of like a cell phone,
And
basically.
how long do you keep them?
It's on an SD card, and we keep them for events like say the trick or treat event. We'll keep that information, and then next year when we're coming up to the trick or treat event, we may look at it again and say, hey, remember last year this was an issue. Let's adjust and put another officer there. So it saves all on there. Yep.
And it's not even probably like a tenth full, and I took a lot of video.
Yeah. And once it's on there, we can transfer it off of there onto our desktops and review those types of things. And obviously, if it's something involving if it's a criminal event that we use it for, or some kind of oftentimes SEMLEC accident recon will call, and they'll want an overall shot. Accident recon, the serious motor vehicle accidents, they investigate those, and they'll want an overhead picture of the entire scene. So a drone operator can put the drone out, they can take pictures, do a video of the scene so you can see all the different markings and whatever else that the traffic investigator needs. And then if it's related to a criminal event or a traffic accident, then that information would be saved into our records management system, just the same as if I took a picture with a crime scene person took a picture, and that goes into that database, and it would be deleted off of the drone. So anything with sensitive or critical information is taken off of there and taken care of.
Yeah, so it's one officer assigned to, I'm trying to get an understanding of who is managing it at what time.
Yes, so there's actually, right now we have 10 pilots that operate the drone. Let's see, right now we're working on getting everyone the certification, which is a 107 certification, which gives you basically a pilot's license, a drone pilot license. That's through the FAA. So we have three 107 certified pilots with pilot licenses, and then the other operators fly under them and under our COA, which is our certificate of authorization. I'm sorry. That's again another thing from the a document and certification from the FAA that says we can fly the drone for our police purposes, public safety, those type of things. The fire department, they have a drone, they fly under the same idea of the certificate of operation, and that's again through the FAA. And we have public safety has there's a little more leniency with what we can do and what we're able to do because of the public safety role. But the main thing is, or one of the most important things is this drone always gives the right of way or to, I guess right of way is a good term for it, to any manned aircraft in the sky, whether it's a helicopter, a plane. If there's something that comes close, and the drone will actually alert you when there's something in the area, another plane in the area, we have to move out of the air. And with ours, we don't go above 400 feet above ground level. So it's a little weird because if we were flying over the building here, we could probably go, I don't know how high this building, maybe 15, 20 feet. We can go technically to 220 feet above the building. So it's wherever the surface, but as soon as you go over the parking lot, you gotta drop it back down to 400 feet. So, and they do that, one second, they do that for like bigger buildings too. So any building, that's where the ground level starts.
How long does it take to get certified?
There's a, Semlec hosts a 107 certification course, and it's a week-long course where you go through the different laws, the different type of, you actually do a lot of weather understanding to make sure it's okay to fly, which with this now isn't that big of a concern, but they teach you a lot of the same stuff that a normal pilot would have, but it's obviously not as extensive of training as a regular pilot would have. So about a week on the training, and then you go and take a test, and test a couple hours on the test, but it's pretty difficult actually. Yeah.
Life expectancy.
Typically, the thing that you have to worry about most are the batteries. And the company said usually about 2 to 3 years on the batteries, depending on type or on flight time and those types of things. Some of the things we do to extend the batteries is you don't keep them fully charged all the time. And I'm not a great expert on the battery stuff, but by not plugging them in constantly, then you extend the battery life on it. So really, the batteries are the biggest thing, and the battery typically is about $100 or so, a couple $100 for a battery for one of these. But we should be, as far as maintenance cost and those type of things, for the next, I would say, 2 to 3 years, we're probably good. The expectancy on the drone, we've had the other one, the Mavic 2, for I think 7 years now. So about 7 years, and really the only thing we do on that is new batteries on that as well. So they're very reliable. This one, our guys haven't put it to the test yet, but they say this is uncrashable because of the sensors. But
I'll give that a run for its money.
yeah, when humans are involved, you never know. But it's with all the sensors, it's 360 or 720, whatever all around it. If it comes within a certain distance of something, it's going to stop. even if you're trying to get it to fly into it.
I think one of the things is, like, from the police side, Todd Minardi was the first one to get the drone back 7, 8 years ago. I think Westborough was one of the first departments to have the drone, and they start using it. The products are great. You know, we spend some good money on the product, but it really comes down to the operators. We have some of the best operators. The reason why we have 10 operators is that we try to have someone at each shift that can actually operate the drone. So as far as battery life goes, it's on the operators. They do such a great job as, you know, making sure that the drone is ready to fly, that it has backup batteries at all times. And that's difficult to do when you have 10 people that are cycling through using the drone, and it does get used quite a bit. But we're very, very fortunate at Westborough to have it, and I do believe we were one of the first departments that you know, to actually have it and to be using it, and why we still get called out as much as we do, because we have a decent reputation as far as how to operate it and have the manpower to have someone to be able to go out to other towns and to assist
They
them.
call you the geek squad?
Yeah.
Oh, they call it some of the people, not
Just
me.
kidding.
So
that.
the first time that we actually used, we don't have it out right now, but the first time we actually utilized the drone was for the anniversary for Westborough, for the town of Westborough.
300.
The 300th, thank you, the 300th anniversary of the town of Westborough, the incorporation of the town of Westborough. That was the first time that we had utilized the drone over Lake Chauncey, a bunch of different places. So we had gotten it. It was kind of like we got, I think, like the day before the anniversary, and we were able to put it up and utilize it. So we've had it, and we've been running it ever since then. So that's how long we've had the drone.
Did you still have one?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
what, does it have any tactical abilities? You know, can you attach things to it if you need to?
Yep, so there's a couple of different attachments you can have. There's we have a speaker, which is actually pretty handy because it's, there was a kid out on a boat on Chauncey, and he couldn't get back in, and we were able to fly up above him, get him on the speaker and talk right into the control and say, hey, stay where you're at, help is coming, we'll come and get you. And so that's nice. There's also lights for it. We have the ability to drop, on the bigger one, we can drop a inflatable floating device that once it hits the water, it'll expand into a raft for someone if they're stuck on a lake or something. So you can do so many things with it that it's crazy. There's also, as far as tactically, we can do a lot of mapping with it. If we can do early prevention on different things. We have overhead shots of like the schools, the other major buildings in town, so we can kind of have a tactical advantage. God forbid something happens in one of those schools, and gives us an ability to know what's going on there. If at that circumstance we can't get the drone up in time, or the officers are too occupied in one of those situations. So.
Am I looking at infrared?
Yes, you are. Or thermal.
Thermal?
Yep. So this year, we'll go into that here in a second, but yeah, one more.
So do you use one drone over the other more often?
Well, we just got this one. It's the Matrice, and this is our older one. That's the Mavic 2, and it's still an excellent drone, and we use both of them. I think because this one's new, people are putting it up more because it's exciting, it's new, its technology is a little bit better, it's newer. Obviously, it's the same as a computer or a car, and they just keep getting better and better and better. So we do utilize both of them. We kind of use the smaller one as almost as a training platform for people to move into, and until they're ready to kind of fly the bigger one and do that. So. Yes, sir.
How effective is it trying to work through the forest?
It's not perfect because even the thermal cameras and the infrared with the leaf cover, it can be hard to see through or pick up the signal through the leaf cover. But a time like this is almost perfect for something because the leaves have come off the trees, and the heat signature is easier to see because of the colder temperatures. It actually even has the capability of, you can set it to, and this kind of goes into fire application as well, but you can set and it'll read the temperature of something. So it'll tell you that, you know, if I got one of these guys or any of us in here, we're gonna be between, you know, 90 degrees and 100 degrees on the scale here. So we can set it for that temperature, and then if we're out looking for a person, it's only looking for heat signatures that are in the temperature range of a human and or an animal, and we're not picking up on different like generators or cars or something else that puts off a heat signature. So. All right, so we'll just, and this is actually a mirror of the live video we just saw, so it simultaneously records. There's that, the kid was doing his arm thing again there. But so obviously you can see these are all people. Is it better to use the pointer or point up here? What do you guys think? Good? Okay. All right, so that's all, obviously all people there. You can see on the roof of the building, that's probably one of our HVAC things that's setting off a little heat up here. This is kind of something that's important. This is the front of a truck, so it's picking up on all the heat off the engine. You can also see the heat on the tires and the engines here. And one thing that we would be able to utilize it for is, say say a vehicle has gone into a large parking lot of an apartment complex or something like that was involved in something. We could go into that parking lot and fly around and look for heat signatures on the vehicles. And if one of the cars, say it's 2 in the morning, and one of the cars has a heat signature like this, but all the rest of them are dark black with nothing, meaning that they're cold, they haven't been ran for a while, we can then, that's some evidence that, hey, maybe this person's involved because this is the only car in the parking lot that's moved within the last, half an hour, hour. So that's kind of one of those things that you don't often think about, but it's...
Have you actually been able to find someone that was doing something wrong with that?
Yep, yeah, there's been a couple times where we found, I think it was a shoplifter that was...
So it's not just theoretical?
No, yeah, you can definitely find people, and this is kind of, when you see all these people, you're like, oh man, that's a lot, how do I determine who I'm looking for? It's going to be harder during the day, or during a time when there's a lot of people out, but a lot of the time, crime occurs in the evenings or the early morning hours, and there's not a lot of people on the street. So we're able to really, nail down. You imagine if this was nighttime and you got 2 people crossing here, but then there's no one else here, that might be someone you want to go and talk to and figure out what's going on. So in those circumstances, the operator would say, hey, or the operator, or preferably a person monitoring the feed, would then be like, hey, go check out this guy. He's right at Main Street by the Coop or wherever they're at, and hopefully that helps us find people, and it does work. We utilize it a lot.
We had one time I was in Northborough. Northborough called. They had a domestic. The guy had fled on foot. This was I think we had the smaller one at that time. This was several years ago, and we were looking around. We didn't know where he went. We were looking around, and just by happenstance, there's a big U-Haul that's right there by 290. We were just flying it around, and he actually heard the drone, and he got out of the car and he kind of looked up, and I had him I had infrared just looking. The car was cold. He broke into the car. And I saw like something pop out, and I was like, that's interesting. And so Northborough supervisor was next to me like, hey, like send a guy over there, I think that's something kind of popped up. Sure enough, but of course at the same time my battery was dying, so I had to fly back, put the battery back in, go back over, and just when I was coming back over, the Northborough officer arrived, and they got there, and the guy had actually gotten out of the car and started running. The Northborough officer was able to find him. So it doesn't happen often. Thankfully around here, we don't have crime where we have to put up the drone to find people who have just committed crimes. That's a good thing. But when we do, and we have the opportunity, and we have the ability to help out, it's definitely a force multiplier. You get someone in the air, and we can cover a large kind of footprint looking so that we can get our resources to different locations. So it certainly is a great asset and a great tool, and technology has certainly come a long way, that's for sure. So, and we can hold an area if we're concerned, and Air Wing is going to come out, State Police Air Wing, and they're going to bring their resources to bear. it's awesome. We can at least set up and try and kind of search it out. And then if Airwind comes and we land and they can kind of take over. So it's a nice multiplier for us.
So does that mean that the drones are in a car?
Yep.
Not every time, but
So we try, that's why we have the multiple pilots, and we try to have at least one pilot on each shift so that there's 24-hour coverage with the drone. So in theory, the drone should be out and available with a pilot at all times, you know.
and the pilot's with the drone.
Yep, and so it's the case, it's actually really easy to bring around. It's a hard case, so the drone's protected. And it's basically like a carry-on suitcase. So you can push it around, throw it in the back of the cruiser, and you're good to go. So it's and the same goes, the other one's even smaller, and if you wanted to take both out, you could just set it on top of here and you're ready to go. So it's all portable. We're able to keep good coverage with everything, and in theory, you know, people get sick sometimes. You know, schedules don't work out, but most of the time, there's a drone available. And if there isn't one, we can rely on SEMLEC, who can send a drone from another town that can come and help us out with our with anything we need as far as that goes. So, yes, sir.
I noticed on the screen there's a white dot, and it's been kind of driving me crazy. Is that?
Oh,
you
that,
see it?
right there?
Oh, okay, that was
just a person, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's getting harder to be a crook.
Yeah, in theory, yeah, you know, there's always ways around it, but we do our best to stop it. Oh, one last feature I'll tell you about is say this was a stolen car, whatever it is, and we didn't have any officers in the area, but a drone operator was up in the air or got it up in the air and located. So the drone now, it has a technology where we can pinpoint that. It'll tell us how far away it is from us or from the drone itself, and then it'll automatically follow that car. So the operator of the controller is able to give information like, oh, it's going this way on South Street, it's going towards Route 9, whatever it is, and still be able to watch the drone on or the car on the monitor there. And that goes for a person too. If someone started running, we could tag them, or walking, and we could, like, for instance, any of these people, we could tag them, and then drone will follow them until we tell it to stop. So
you're saying that has a GPS on it, and you can track somebody with that and send signal back to the cruiser?
Not necessarily a GPS. What it is connected. There's GPS on the drone itself, so we always know where the drone is. But then it sends a laser targeting system, and it targets that thing, and then it just tells the drone where to fly to keep up with it. So, and in theory, you could get like say you had, someone was missing in the woods, like or Cedar Swamp or something, they're way out there, like very hard to get to. We could target that location, we could get a latitude and longitude, and then we could send that latitude and longitude to like a rescue boat, or if it's on water, or to rescuers that are walking, and said, hey, it's there, it's at this location. Then on their phone they could pull up, okay, here's the location, and that's where we need to go. So it does even have the capabilities of being able to, if I'm flying it here, and Lieutenant Luce and the deputy chief are on the other side of town, and they're, say it's a really big incident going on, and they want to see what the drone sees, they could pull it up on their phone and watch on their phone, as long as they have the access codes and those kind of things.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions before we get, so we can do a quick demo?
I'm the one who flies it places where it really shouldn't be flown.
Never endure.
I really know it's like the best idea in the whole wide world. However, this one will not, I was just thinking about this one with all the sensors, it will yell at me the entire time that I'm in here. When we had it up for Halloween, I took it off near the overhang there, and it didn't like me on the overhang, which is fine. But I think the smaller one, I might be able to get it up.
And we could probably even get a picture of everyone from over there. You know, it does create some interesting pictures.
Let's,
So smile.
So these ones are actually small enough where we don't typically do it, but you could deploy it inside of a building. Definitely something with a higher, there's smaller ones that are more specific for that, but say you were in a warehouse building or something that very high ceilings and there's more room and less obstacles, you could fly it in there technically. Like if, say, Amazon got broken into or something, and we were trying to find someone, not that they ever closed, but if they were closed and someone got in there, we'd be able to kind of go and search for them.
so, oh, you know what? I'm actually, so I can show you guys here in 1 second. Okay. As you can see, it doesn't like me because the flying says top. So with this, I can rotate the camera up and down. It's pretty, you know, and the thing is inside here, if we took this one off inside here, I would not be able to talk and you guys to be able to listen to me. This is very loud. This is nice, this is quiet. It's got the capabilities where we can go forward with it inside, but it's got sensors on it. So the really kind of fun part about this is I can put this remote down, right? And until the battery dies or something happens, it's gonna stay right here, okay? But if I get a little bit closer to it, as you guys can see on the screen, it's got all the red markings. So when we're flying it, if we're getting near something, those red markings are going to come out there, and it's going to give us our distance. 1.6 meters in front and 4 meters up above is our distance. So, but it's pretty cool because until the battery dies, I don't have to do anything with it. It's just going to stay right there and just kind of go there. So we have zooms.
Yeah, so just a couple more other things here. This is the height, so it's at about 4 feet off the ground there. So that'll obviously go up to 400 is what we have it set at. It could, I believe it can go up to 27,000 feet, but we don't fly up there because it's not safe, obviously. You got your distance away from you, from the controller. When we're this close a range, it doesn't really pick up on it because it's at such a low level. Gives you our, gives you your speed, this one here, and the direction it's facing northeast at 21 degrees. Also have the capabilities, we can pull up the map. Obviously we're not in Africa right now, but if you were to pull that up, it would bring up a map, and that's actually a nice tool because it will show you if you're searching an area, and you know, a lot of areas look the same with trees, houses. There's nothing really to distinguish. So if you look at the road map, you can see where it maps out where it's gone, so you know if you're searching an area that I've searched this area, now I need to go over to this one and make sure you're getting a full, complete grid search with it.
So we can, I'm gonna land this thing.
And so when you're flying it,
Didn't crash. All right.
when
Thank you
you're
very
flying
much.
it, do you see are you looking at the drone or are you looking at a monitor or something on that, or what do you?
Usually you're looking at the controller, so the controller has a screen. The pilot will look at the controller, which is what you're seeing there.
Yep.
So, and it's a lot clearer and a lot easier to see. And when you have good lighting conditions, we have a setup where we actually will put a TV monitor in the back of the cruiser. We use this battery pack here, plug the TV into that, and then connect the same way we did with the projector here. And then that way, if you have 3 or 4 officers are standing there trying to figure out what's going on. Typically a patrol car is kind of our incident command post that we're all standing at and directing where to go, you know, figuring out how we're gonna solve the different problems we come across. So then they can look, we can all look at that screen, it's much bigger, it's easier to see, and then the pilot can concentrate on flying, whereas other people can search. Because it does get a little, it is hard to be sitting and staring at this screen and trying to find some of those little specks, like in the infrared specks, because it is a little difficult, especially in the woods sometimes.
The hardest part is when you learn to fly this, you want to look at the drone. When you're flying it, you want to look up at the drone because that's comfortable. You're looking at it and you're kind of going, but you really have to learn how to fly it by looking on the screen. Or that takes time. Yes.
Do you have to be FAA certified for that, like you have to do remote control planes?
Yeah, so that falls again into, there's the, 3 of our pilots have the FAA pilot's license, and then the other 7 have the COA, which is, yeah, no, that's okay, yeah, so, yeah, so you do have to have authorization, and some of the things the COA lets us do is a normal pilot that is just, say, a pilot that's taking pictures of your house for real estate or something. They can't necessarily fly over other people to get to those photos, and they have to keep the continuous line of sight with the plane. It can't go, you can't fly it up and take it, 2,500 feet away from me where you can't see it anymore. With the COA, we still follow most of those rules on most of the times, but in a public emergency, life or death situations, we're able to violate those rules, other than the flying when another aircraft, manned aircraft is out there. Cool. Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions? Thank you. Yeah, we're very lucky to have this, and we appreciate the support that the town gives us and allows us to have this technology. And the chief's very forward-thinking, and like the deputy was saying, one of the first to really establish this program. It's something that other agencies have copied and followed and taken our policies and do that. So hopefully we make you guys proud as your police department, and other towns come to us for a lot of different things. So hopefully that's something you can be proud of.
Great tool. Great tool.
Thank you.